to the next stage of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations being played in Cote d'Ivoire. Well, they would have to wait to see whether Cameroon, Algeria, as well as Tanzania, and they will fluff their efforts in winning their games. If they fail to win, there could be that slight possibility, but a loss to another would benefit one other nation. So we're still waiting to see. Yes, Cote d'Ivoire also failed to get the very best of results yesterday. They were thrashed 4-0 by Equatorial Guinea, who topped Group A, leaving the Ivorians now in doubt of qualifying. But they are a point better than Ghana. It means that they have shrugged off Ghana and need only one result or one team getting less points than they have now to remain in the competition as hosts. Well, so the Black Stars yesterday disappointingly drawing 2-2. 2 penalties from Jordan Ayew gave the Stars a 2-0 lead going into the final minutes of the game, with added time 6 minutes put on by the referee in charge of the game. A handball from Andre Ayew inside the penalty area gave Mozambique an opportunity to come back, and in just 2 minutes time, they managed to get another goal. Let's hear from Mohamed Kudus right after the game.
Very, very disappointing. We wanted to qualify for the next round. That was important. We couldn't. It's a big field. We need to learn from this and then move on. But yeah, it's a very big disappointment. Today we lost the game by losing the focus. We are up 2-0. Last 4 minutes in the game. We can't lose 2 goals. It's just lack of concentration in the last minutes. You've seen this against Egypt. Some key goals, So we need to keep our focus in the last part of the game. You lose concentration. It's too easy. Very disappointing.
Really African competition for the first 19 minutes.
I believe we have the quality, because we won't be here if we don't have the quality. But in games like this, it's just small margins. It's little things, we need to keep the focus throughout the whole game. And you can see today, the last minute, we gave away 2 cheap goals against Egypt. You could see the same thing. We just lose the concentration in the last minute of the game. Today was easy win for us. 2-0 out. We should keep it like that to the end of the game. It's just too sloppy and too silly mistakes from Egypt and this game. It's too easy.
Hello, Chris Wright, from PFM. We went the game from the stands. You were close to us, you got substituted. What really happened? What really happened to the team? What really happened to the players? Because none of my colleagues here can explain it. 2 goals up, people went down. When they came up with 2-2, we are out of competition. What really happened to the last Ghana?
That's what I'm saying. I can't even explain it. Just lack of concentration in the last minute. This is not our quality or whatever. It's just lack of concentration in the last minute. It's too easy. Some mistakes. But yeah, we move on from this and then we look up on what's ahead.
Mohamed Kudus there, too easy and very poor from the Black Stars, according to Mohamed Kudus. Now, Chris Hughton is the coach of the team, and he reacted to the loss whilst defending Richard Oforian, explaining why he substituted Joseph Paintsall in the first minute of the second half.
Players that have played in the 3 games, and I thought our energy levels were not the highest, but when you get yourself into a position of being 2-0 up, you don't expect to concede in the way that we conceded. And this was shown in the 3 games. What we've had to do is we've put ourselves in positions where you have to score 3 goals to win a game in all 3 of our games. And we continue to make fundamental mistakes. We got ourselves into a lead, whether we deserve that or not, but the fact is that we were in the lead, and to go to this stage of the game is this is why it's an angry changing room. I think you can hear by the motion that's going outside that it's an angry place at the moment. Unless you are able to see a game through, then it becomes very, very difficult. No, I don't think that's the case. If you're asking me about the results that we've had and the performances that we've had, we have not been good. If you're asking me about myself personally, then as head coach, I've not done well enough in this competition. We have played 3 games, as I've said. We've conceded 2 goals in each of these games, and we haven't put ourselves in a winning position where we can score goals. So now, if you're asking me about my performance, I take responsibility for this team. I have a group of players that came here and wanted to do well, wanted to do really well, wanted to compete really well. For the results that we've had in these 3 games, I'm the head coach, and I will always take responsibility.
Next question.
The impact can only be judged by results. So I think what you have to do, and I think as journalists, you will analyse the results from myself as head coach. What I was hoping was that this team that we had, this is the best opportunity that we had coming into this competition, where we had the players for a long enough period to train and to put a formation in place.
Chris Hughton trying to explain things, but it's much more difficult to even understand. That is Chris Hughton, but former Togolese footballer and captain who also played for Arsenal in the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester City, and played in the Spanish La Liga with Real Madrid. Emmanuel Sheyi Adebayo has also spoken about the performance of the team. He doesn't believe that they gave any hopes. But before then, let's go on the lines and speak to Coach Christopher Nimley, who has been keenly following the Black Stars as well. Very unfortunate. I think we've lost Coach Chris on the line. We'll get back to him, but let's have a quick listen to Emmanuel Adebayo after yesterday's disappointing result for the Black Stars.
Disappointed coming to this game. They knew they have their destiny in their hand. They knew they have to win. They knew this is a key game for the country, and the way they play is just unbelievable. They play with no envy. They play with no motivation. They play with no communication,
Agency.
No, like they play that they are just here for fun, and for me, it's completely wrong.
Completely wrong, according to Emmanuel Adebayo. Coach Nimley, thanks for joining us here on 3FM 92.7.
It's a pleasure, my brother.
It's quite disappointing. The Black Stars let go a 2-goal lead yesterday, once again at the AFCON. But from your technical point of view, what really went wrong on the day for us?
Okay, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share my views on what happened yesterday. Look, in the game of football, there are certain basic rudiments that you need to abide by. If in a game at that level, and technically, your players are not that comfortable in every department in just constructing 3 or 4 passes among themselves and establishing a rhythm that could last, or a tempo that could last close to 5 minutes or 3, 4, 5 minutes, at times 10 minutes, then you find yourself in big issue. Now, if it is proven that defensively you are bad, you happen to take a lead, you don't withdraw into your bad state, or you don't withdraw into the state that could lead you to you being easily exposed. This Chris Hughton team has shown since the World Cup, when Otuado was in charge, together with this current technical team who happens to be in charge now, that defensively we are a very bad team. So one would have thought that if we are playing against Mozambique, not a powerful house in Africa, but this tournament too has taught us otherwise, and we take a 2-0 lead, you don't effect changes that should mean that we should be defending against Mozambique. The quality in gap is not vast. We're not playing against Argentina. We're not playing against the French national team. were playing against Mozambique. So tactically, I completely disagree with the coach when he saw the need to substitute our best attacking player in Joseph Spencer. In that first half, there was absolutely nothing to be happy about, apart from the Joseph Spencer moment. The moment I call the Joseph Spencer moment. Yeah. He was finding it very difficult against the left back of Mozambique. Very smart on the part of the young man. He switched position to the left. And the right fullback, who had gotten used to the antics and the tricks of Jordan Ayew, thought Joseph Spencer was Jordan Ayew. So by the time he realized the footwork and the speed, the acceleration was completely off guard, we got a penalty. Beautifully slotted in by Jordan Ayew. Now it came down to the in-game coaching. Look, that's what coaching is all about. Apart from preparing your team on the training grounds, so when you are in the game itself and the game starts, the in-game coaching is what the profession is all about. About 90% of that profession is based on what happens when the game itself is in progress. Now, for that in-game coaching, that is where our technical team has failed. They failed from the very beginning. They decided that, look, we were taking Richard Ofori to the tournament as our number one goalkeeper. He's not been in goal. We didn't take him to the World Cup. Prior to the World Cup, he was sitting on the bench at Orlando Paris as their third goalkeeper. After the World Cup, he's kept that position at Orlando Paris. So for close to 2 years, he's not been active. As to why Richard Olele Kingston, with all his experience, one of the best goalkeepers I have seen for Ghana, could ask, as the goalkeeper's trainer, could agree with the technical team that Richard Ofori should be chosen ahead of Lawrence Atizigi for this tournament. Only they can explain. And I believe that was very, very bad on the part of the technical team. Look, the young man was very suspect the entire competition, the entire tournament. In all the 3 games we played, he's been very suspect. Even yesterday, look at the errors he was committing. Prior to that error, he had committed 3 errors already. So again, what is the psyche of this team? Now, when we are in the league and you are a coach and you want to do your substitution, you don't ask a player who's played 31 minutes in 6 months to go and replace or to go and play for 45 minutes. What do you think you are doing? Please say that again.
It's Coach, kindly continue, yeah.
Yes, so like I'm saying, you don't put a player who has played 31 minutes of football in 6 months to go and play 45 minutes. Whilst there is Enes Niyama, there's Osman Bukal, there's Naki Williams. Everybody, look, if you are not knowledgeable about the thing, can't you see what was happening? Couldn't the coaching staff see? They've got a video analyst that just watching on screen. Clarence sits in front of the video. He's the one analyzing the video. Whatever is happening, what was the tactical message from that software that told them that they should be introduced into this game? For what? And then when you look at the fact that we had a back 4 that looked very comfortable, all of a sudden he switched to a back 5 that brought in players that could not handle the ball, players that will only be ballooning the ball. In the game of football, if you keep ballooning the ball, you keep inviting your opponents onto you. And that simply means that you'll be under pressure. And like I said, your DNA is very bad when it comes to defending. So why do you position yourself to be in a situation that will mean that you are likely to be exposed?
All right. Coach, I'll be coming back to you again, but joining us also is a sports journalist, Michael Otieje, who's covered so many tournaments since 2002, the African Nations Cup. He's head of news here. He's a general manager for MG News. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. You've covered several tournaments, and in the last 2, the Black Stars have failed to deliver, exiting the group stages. Where do you take this from and the disappointment of the team?
You were saying?
I was saying that this is a huge disappointment on the part of the team. You've covered many tournaments, but in the last 2, the team has failed to deliver. Where do you take this from, and how does this disappointment look like, and what does it speak of our football at international level?
Well, I think that if we needed any more clearer indication about the state of competitive football in Ghana, then maybe this has highlighted that the state is fairly simple, to sum it in a very simple way. It's a sport that is benefiting a lot of individuals, and best of luck to them. The players are playing at club level, they are flourishing, they are getting good deals. But collectively as a nation, football is in tatters. The under-17s can't qualify for major tournaments, the under-20s can't do that, the under-23s are nowhere to be found, and the Black Stars continue to be an absolute mess on the international scene, you have to say. In the past, I tweeted last night that in the past we used to get angry and upset about exiting competitions in the semi-final stage. I remember sitting in the commentary box in 2008 and stepping out after that game against Cameroon ended in the semi-finals and dropping a tear because I couldn't believe the Black Stars had not won the tournament. I long for days like that. I long for the period between 2008 up to 2017 when the least we would do in a tournament, in a Nations Cup, was to get to the semi-final stage. And even in the World Cup, if we exited in the group stage, in 2 World Cups, we were straight away all the time through to the knockout stages. So it's a bit incredible, and how low we have sunk. We've sunk low because maybe a lot of the lessons from that period we've not assimilated well. So I think personally that the things that give us so much success as a team, as a country, we've sort of thrown all of them away. A broader outlook to selection of players, a certain level of consistency that runs through the youth team. We built a team that went to our first World Cup by building on the gains of the 2001 under-20 team that finished second in the under-20 World Cup to Argentina. Yeah. Then when that team began to fade off a bit and a little of the players started to fall off the radar, we built a team on the back of the under-20 World Cup winning side to build a team that reached the quarterfinal, and then build a team that went on to almost win the Nations Cup in 2015 and in 2010. So there's been a certain method to our approach, and all of that is gone because at the lower level, the authenticity to developing talent is gone. It's become using it to prop up individual clubs of individual members. It's become an opportunity for people to use that as a route to develop, bringing money into their own clubs and the rest. Nobody is going out to genuinely look for talent. You've literally left all that work to write to dream. So Kudus, Myanmar, Gideon Mensah, and all that. And because other people want to cash in so much, everybody seems to want it. And that's made our junior teams an absolute mess. And it's just bad. It's that bad, honestly.
Yeah. But I realize, yes, all of us admit this has been a downfall when you look at the senior national team, and also the GFA and our domestic product have fallen. But a lot of promise was made of Chris Hughton's appointment as the head coach of the Black Stars. After this tournament, does it bring any surprises? Was it this that was expected of him as the quality coach who was coming from the Premier League with all the experience to handle the Black Stars? Many feel that this downfall should be his blame or his fault entirely.
Oh, I completely agree with you. This is on him. Because, I've said a lot of things, but also this is not a loss you can blame on the lack of players. You understand? So
yes, sure.
We have a team that can call on reasonably good players. Mm-hmm. It's not as if the players we took to the Nations Cup are any worse than the players that Comoros picked, for instance, or the players that Equatorial Guinea has. We called on players who were playing club football in Chikwa Fenerbahce and regular. We called on players like Mohamed Salisu, who we literally went cap in hand and begged in England to become a Ghana player before the last World Cup.
Yeah.
We could call on even Baba Idris, who was an absolute disaster every time he came on the pitch. With a regular in La Liga without Maria. And then you could have Jordan Ayew at Crystal Palace, whose contribution consisted of winning more free kicks than creating chances for his fellow strikers because he barely crossed the ball. Or you could call on Inaki Williams, who for all the criticisms and the problems, is pretty decent striker in the Spanish La Liga with a team that sits in the top 5, Atletico Bilbao, or maybe a Kudu. So this was not, or Semenyo with Beaumont. This was not for a lack of talent. This was also a case of the leadership of the team not being able to do the things that sends the right signals to the team. I think Hugh team watched the management of Dede Ayew badly. It was obvious from the Otuado era and the World Cup, from that game against Comoros 2 years ago, that maybe the time was near to transition Dede and unleash the team of the burden of having to consistently accommodate him.
Yeah.
And it was very simple. You watch the Black Stars closely.
True.
The Black Stars' best games in the last 2 years or so has been when they have not been playing.
Exactly.
It's not for nothing. It's not for nothing that our best moments against Egypt were in that moment. You literally needed to, and sometimes you send a message to a team that a player who has not played for so long, look, there is too much entitlement to playing for the Black Stars. And this is not just a Dede Ayew problem. This is a Black Stars problem. I remember very well the issues I had with Richard Kingston at the time he had to retire, when all he was interested in doing was to accuse journalists of being the ones who forced him out. Even he did it when he became a Black Stars regular at the expense of the likes of Suleiman Tai. It was difficult for them to deal with.
Yeah.
But we've never built a strong national team without first clearing out a generation. And it seemed that at this stage we were not able to do. What you want from a coach like Hugh with his reputation, what he's seen in football, is the ability to be dispassionate and to make those decisions. And it didn't work. And for me, the most shocking thing is that you could tell whenever you were watching the game that every time Ashimiro was going off, you could tell that we're going to have a bad time. Because Baba Idrisu can't hold the ball, or he's unwilling to hold the ball. Distribution was zero. He just kept piling the pressure on the team. It didn't happen once. It happened in every single game that we played, which suggests to me a systemic problem more than anything else. And Hugh team could barely do anything about it. He kept doing the same things over and over again. And the most shocking thing to me yesterday was just the logic that went. And I really am interested in hearing him explain what was going through his mind when he picked out potentially our best player from the first half and replaced him with Dede in that moment. What was he doing? In the first 2 games, you didn't play a player. He had no influence on the team. Your team was doing all right. You had a 1-0 advantage. You had the capacity to hold that enemy. So everything about Houghton's man management, his management of the team, his tactics, his ability to send the strongest message that he will pick players on the principles of fairness and everything has been thrown out of the window. And every bad decision he's made has come back to bite us. So in the second game, his changes were primarily the reason why we considered the goal that we did. Yesterday, his changes contributed a lot to this. His decision to stick with Ofori and not allow Atizigi to build on the gains of the World Cup, even though Atizigi is a regular in the Swiss top flight, and Ofori has not played a game in the South Africa Premier League this season. In fact, Ofori is third choice in the South Africa Premier League this season. So he will make 1 or 2 brilliant saves as we saw yesterday, but in the most crucial moment, he let both himself and his country down. But it's not him, it's the coach who has allowed all this to happen. Because as a leader, he's not sure the capacity to be able to make the calls required in order to keep the various team members on their own. If you manage a team that loses concentration so consistently, we considered 5 goals in this tournament. Every single one of those goals, maybe with the exception of the penalty, every single one of those goals came from an absolutely avoidable and ridiculous error. And that for me is a major problem.
Well, going forward, I'm sure definitely Chris Hughton will be shown there as it. Should we allow any of George Boateng or Didi Dramani to take over, just like we allowed Chris Hughton and Otto?
No, sir.
What should be the way forward? What kind of coach should we look at, and what should be the ideal plan now? Should it be government involved, or the FA, led by Keto Kraku, need to fix this well themselves?
Well, look, I think government needs to take a bit more interest. The point where the GFA is almost, the GFA and the sports ministry are almost one and the same, needs to go. There needs to be more scrutiny of what the GFA does. Sometimes even if it's at the risk of erring on FIFA's side. You can't allow this to go on. You can't allow your national teams to become this bad and not bothered, unless government is not bothered about the money it spends. So there needs to be a bit more scrutiny.
Yeah.
A bit more understanding of who comes in. I think the next coach, we need to find a coach who is good enough. It doesn't have to be George Boateng, I'm afraid. Shouldn't be really Dramani. I don't think, I've not seen anything to be convinced that a continuation of the Otto, Boateng, Chris Hughton squad is what Ghana needs. I'm totally unconvinced. Let's find one brilliant, good ex-player committed to the national team, and let's give them maybe 5 years or so. But if we do all this and we don't build the base from the national team, from the junior teams, and we don't stop turning it into into the biggest marketing platform for players, we will be doing zero work. So the overhaul must be complete. And I beg of the people who call themselves football people, if you run football and you have the interest of Ghana football at heart, you should be holding Kets and the GF administration to better standards than they are doing now. Allowing the things that go on in the system to keep going on, it's just not right. There seems to be almost like we've given the current GFA a carte blanche to make mistakes. And it's not like we see improvements when the mistakes are made. We do this. We've been the same thing. I could list for you the last 5 tournaments where we've been absolutely horrible at every level. This is the first time we've had back-to-back Nations Cup exits. We exited group stage in 84. We didn't even qualify for some time, so that we can deal with. We were back in 92. We were bang on. It showed that we always take our time to rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
We had a bad Nations Cup in 94. What did we do afterwards? We literally rebuilt that team of the under-20 team, qualified for our first World Cup, and we went on a run of Nations Cup semi-finals every time we showed up there.
Yeah.
Again, we rebuilt properly. 2010, when the likes of Asian, Muntari, John Mesa, and the rest were unavailable, we still had a solid crop of young players to build on.
Mm-hmm.
You know why we did that? Because we had a good under-20 set, but we also had a coach at the time who was prepared to make the bold calls and who was prepared not to interrupt that rebuilding process when the big boys came back. We need a coach who can have the balls, but we also need a system that works. You can't have one without the other.
Thank you so much, Michael. I know you are very much pain, and we just hope that we get out of this together. But the Nations Cup will continue. Thank you so much, Michael Otieche, for joining us this morning. He is the general manager for MG News here at Media General. Very, very unfortunate turnaround yesterday from the Black Stars in the most disappointing circumstances. We were listening to Emmanuel Adebayo on what he thinks of this Black Stars team before we get to Kumasi to speak to Richard Champon.
Disappointed coming to this one, and for me is completely wrong.
It's really, really disappointing, and I don't know where the Black Stars are going to go from here, because 2 points may not be enough.
I don't know where they want to go. I think the best place to go is to go back home to Ghana, so they can all flow back to their clubs, and because we can't see them doing anything anyway. Let's put it into perspective. Let's say if Ghana qualified, what are they going to do in the next stage? There is no point.
There is no point if Ghana are not going to qualify. There is no point for them because he doesn't see anything good about this team that can give anything going forward, all because of the poor performance they showed in the 3 games in the group stages. So the Black Stars once again letting their gas down, and as a former footballer, he understands what a good team is and knows what a good team is. It wasn't just the Black Stars who were disappointed. Their country last night, Cote d'Ivoire, also made a mess of themselves as they lost 4-0 to Equatorial Guinea. Emilio Insue, a player who plays as a defender for his club side in the 3rd division in Spain, managed to score once again. He has 5 goals, 5 solid goals in this particular tournament. So that was another victory also there for Equatorial Guinea. They defeated Cote d'Ivoire by 4 goals. The other goals were scored by Garnet and Wheeler. Insue, however, scored 2 goals, I should say. So he's currently leading the pack with 5 goals at this Nations Cup. Very solid performance from him. And Nigeria managed a 1-0 victory over Guinea-Bissau. Sangante with an own goal after pressure from Victor Osimhen in that particular game. So you look at Group A, and then the teams that have qualified, Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria, both on 7 points after drawing the first game. They went on to defeat Cote d'Ivoire and Guinea-Bissau, respectively. Cote d'Ivoire got their only 3 points by beating Guinea-Bissau, who were the whipping boys in the group. In Group B, Cape Verde drew 2-2 with Egypt last night, after Ghana also drew 2-2 with Mozambique. So Gremon Tavares scored the opener before Mahmoud Trezeguet equalized in the 50th minute. Well, there was also another goal that came from Texera before. Mahmoud Trezeguet scored before Texera equalized to make it 2-2 for the Blue Sharks. So Blue Sharks of Cape Verde also progressing to the next stage. Richard Echampon, as my colleague at Akoma FM in Kumasi, he also joins us. Rich, another disappointment now. I'm sure you've diagnosed the problem of this team, and you fairly give us what actually went wrong and where we can start remedying this catastrophe from.
Kelvin, thanks so much, and let me say hi to your listeners. I think it's becoming a norm, so the disappointment upon disappointment is gradually becoming a norm. And for those of us in this business who do fair and objective analysis, and we are sometimes touted as people who do not like people in authority, basically because we are not praise singers. I think we are not so much surprised. Anybody who listened to me on radio this week, I cautioned Ghanaians that yes, we played very well against the Pharaohs of Egypt, but then I'm expecting a tough night for the Black Stars versus Mozambique, because we've struggled to beat those teams in recent times. People are not just keeping records. There is a reason you feel somebody will say, oh, as for Mozambique, it's a done deal. When we struggled to draw with Namibia in Ghana, when we struggled to beat Central African Republic in Ghana, and we will lose our way to Central African Republic, Angola, Comoros, and all those countries. So clearly, if you're a student of the game, you keep record, and you know these Black Stars, you will not be so much surprised with the result. But I agree with you. Another huge disappointment for the fact that the Black Stars is and ought to be a big one when it comes to the African Games. So I agree with you that it is a huge disappointment. Now, with regards to our problem, Kelvin, is it not so surprising that one department that for every club, every country, you see a lot of consistency there is the goalkeeping department?
Yes.
But tell me, in our last 3 tournaments, we have used 3 goalkeepers. Clearly, we don't have a plan that for goalkeeping, you can check every serious national team, and you realize a goalkeeper can play 3, 4, 5 tournaments, because that is one department you don't normally change.
Yes.
But here we are, in 2021 AFCON, which was played in 2022, George Walcott was our first choice goalkeeper.
Yes.
We went to the World Cup 2022, and Lawrence Atizigi was the first choice goalkeeper. We are in 2024 playing AFCON 2023, and Rachel Ofori becomes our first choice goalkeeper. I mean, what is happening? Is it that we are a country that lacks basic things in football as to how to plan and execute things. That is number one. Number two, the technical team, they've proven that they are technically and tactically bankrupt, especially for the games they've been in charge for the Black Stars. For me, if you want to talk about profile, I think I'll rate Chris Hughton as next to Ivan Grant when it comes to profile of coaches who have coached the Black Stars. For him to have coached in the Premier League, English Premier League, is no joke. And so, in terms of profile, but ever since he was appointed, Kelvin, he's proven to be a disappointment from day one.
Yeah.
His first game, second game, third game, fourth game, and we have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
As I said in my intro, this is a coach who will struggle to win over Angola 1-0 in Kumasi, and then he will go to Angola, and then he will lose. This is a coach who struggled to beat Central African Republic. Remember, in the qualifiers, Central African Republic will beat them here.
Yes.
The return leg was played in the 11th November Stadium in Angola.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently CAF did not accept any of the facilities in Central African Republic to host CAF games. So that game was played in Angola. And we could not beat Central African Republic in Angola.
No.
Madagascar, you beat Madagascar in Kumasi, you struggle and get some win, and then you go to Madagascar, you are unable to win. So clearly, the trajectory was clear for us that we are not going to have it easy. Remember, AFCON 2019, we won one game.
Yes.
One game in AFCON 2019.
Yes.
That was Ghana's win over Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah, Guinea-Bissau.
And then AFCON 2021, which was played in 2022, we did not win a game.
No.
Another AFCON, we did not win a game.
Mm-hmm.
This is a coach who selects players to tournaments, and if you do a profile of sent to the tournament, clearly you know that the coach picked more DMs, more defensive midfielders than offensive midfielders.
Yeah.
And it is quite surprising. So he picked Richmond Lamte of Asante Kotoko.
Mm-hmm.
And in the team, Richmond Lamte, his profile and his skill set is of that of Majid Ashimel.
Yes.
So clearly, if you do that, you are telling us that if you picked two right fullbacks, if one is not there, then you go and bring a midfielder or a centre back to play in that position in the stead of that player, then it means you did not do a good job. So either the coach selected Richmond Lamte not based on the fact that he needed the boy, but he just wanted to send him there, or the coach himself is as confused as anybody, because if you look at Majid Ashimel, in the squad that the coach did, the 27 players, it is only Richmond Lamte who can match the skill set of a player. But we go to games, game 1, game 2, game 3, and two goalkeepers are dressed, and that player is in the stand. Clearly, before the game, I asked a question to the technical team if Ashimel is fit, and the answer was that yes, he's been past fit. But if you watch him versus Egypt, how he went out, clearly it meant that he may not be able to play the 90 minutes. So what was the backup plan? Kelvin, did you realize that at a point, Ghana were playing 7 defensive-minded players and 3 attackers versus Mozambique at 2-0?
Yes.
This is shocking and disappointing. Ghana is playing Mozambique. Ghana has a 2-goal lead. And my coach decided to play 7 defensive-minded players.
Yes.
That is shocking and disappointing, because for me, it was a game that if Ghana had still decided to be playing, we could score. Now look at the explanation he gives us as to why he pulled out Jose Penzo. And Jose Penzo was tired. Was it in the eyes of that coach alone, or everybody watching the game saw Jose Penzo tired? Because he was the only player who was giving us energy in the final third of the opposition. Look how he won that penalty kick. That is his talking trait. That is how he plays his game. He will pick the ball, he will dribble across 2-3 players, enter the box. If you don't follow him, he can shoot and score. He can assist. But the coach tells me that I'm tired, and if Joseph Pencil is tired, the next player you trust to play 45 minutes of football for you is Andrew Dede Ayew, who has played 1 minute all season, who was clubless in the first half of the season. I mean, Chris Hughton and the rest of the technical team, I'm not sure they will have explanation to what they have done. Yes, the Black Stars, they've not been performing in recent times. But Kelvin, any of our local coaches, would have qualified Ghana to the next stage of the competition, especially because we had a 2-goal lead over Mozambique.
Yeah.
And that was enough to guarantee us a spot there. But I trust Ghana to learn nothing. I'm telling you, this is not the first time we've suffered such humiliation. It happened in our last tournament.
Yeah.
When the FA president came back, he asked Ghanaians if there was any Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi who was not sent to the tournament. I am sure Kent will not change from his position because still, we do not have a Cristiano Ronaldo, we do not have a Lionel Messi. And
Yes.
so he thinks it is far. Look at Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea is topping a group that has the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Elephant of La Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
It's basically about plan.
With the defender as a striker.
And they are playing Emilio Inso, who is playing as a defender in the last 6 years or so as their striker.
Yeah.
And they are winning games. It is because there is a certain plan and they are executing that plan to perfection. Unfortunately for us, we don't have a plan. If we had a plan, we would have reorganized this Black Stars after getting just a point from a group that had Morocco, that had Gabon, and Comoros. But what did we do? We sat back, did nothing, started saying that we're going to win the World Cup. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah.
The sports minister said that when they brought the World Cup trophy for the tour, when he was handing it over to them, he said, I'm only giving you this because we will come back to Qatar and bring it home. See, our sports minister was dreaming of winning the World Cup. So we failed to plan. Going to this AFCON, my FA president says that the players have displayed a lot of commitment. And why have they displayed commitment? What did they do? He said because they decided to fly to come and train here to go and play the tournament. So that is commitment. I think that we are suffering from leadership paralysis as far as the stars is concerned.
Okay.
As far as our football is concerned. People are only thinking about how much will come into their pockets, their personal pockets, what the benefit that will inure to them personally, not how to take Ghana football from our current position to where we are supposed to be. That is the problem that I am seeing. And trust Ghana to learn nothing because our next ambition will be to get to FIFA 2026 World Cup.
Yeah.
And they will tell you, when you talk about it, it means you don't love the country. But I tell you, one of the biggest reasons they fail to reorganize our football is the fact that we qualify for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar.
Yeah.
Kevin, I'm telling you, if having disgraced ourselves at Cameroon, if we had failed to qualify for the World Cup, it would have been on them that we have problems that need to be solved.
Yeah, it would have
But
done us
because
a
we
lot of
qualified
good.
for the World Cup, I'm sure you were there when the president said that qualifying for the World Cup is like going to heaven,
Yes, yes.
which is the ultimate. So if we are at heaven, reorganize football, do we need to think that we have a problem?
No.
And so I think that it is what is always stopping us from reorganizing our team. Because we think that once we qualify for the World Cup, then we are up there. But clearly, we qualify for the World Cup. Look at the Super Green Eagles, the Green Eagles of Nigeria.
Yeah.
They've been very poor. We qualified, but I thought we had a great opportunity to reorganize our game, to reorganize the Black Stars, get some youthful players who will not be playing because of money, but who will be playing because of pride. Ghana is the only national team that when they are playing our national anthem, you don't see our players singing the national anthem. I think it is only Richard Ofori who has tried, and I don't. You see him. I think he's doing some incantations because it's not the words in the.
Yes, he
national anthem that I
muffles
see.
he muffles up the words.
I don't know what he's saying, and this is a problem for me. Richard Ofori, what was he thinking when he touched that ball? Why? Getting to the dynamics of the game. The ball is going on.
It's getting
It should
painful.
be a goalkeeper for Ghana.
Yeah.
He decided to touch the ball and still raise his hands in the air. I don't understand. So what was the reason why Chris Hughton brought in Andre Ayew to do what? I think they've set up Andre Ayew for public ridicule for a very long time. And he himself ought to have told the coach that, coach, this is not the time I'm supposed to go into this game.
Yeah.
They set him up for public ridicule. That boy has done a lot for Ghana. Remember, he led this country to win the Under-20 World Cup in 2009 in Egypt. It was the first time that an African country was winning the Under-20 World Cup. It is a prestigious tournament, especially if you go to South America and you know how they value the Under-20 World Cup.
Sure.
Andre in 2010, remember at the AFCON and the World Cup, fantastic player. But for now, he's not the same Andre Ayew. And you throw him in 45 minutes, and I am sure if you ask the coach what was the contribution of Andre to the game, all you remember will be the penalty that he conceded, because he just came in to be running. When we had 7 defensive-minded players, Kevin, this is the irony of the situation.
Yeah.
Well, we had 7 defensive-minded players on the field. We conceded 2 goals. Can you believe that? So what was the essence of bringing in 7 defensive-minded players?
Rich.
And
It's
look
just-
at the then.
It's just.
There was Jordan,
It's
there
just
was
that.
Kudus,
Yes.
and Andre.
Rich.
So clearly, the coach has killed us in terms of scoring another goal. Andre, Jordan, and Kudus. Kudus cannot be running for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Jordan had done his bit, and he clearly was tired. And then you bring in Andre. So those were the 3 attackers. And then Baba Idrisu, there was Salis, there was we have 3 centre backs. 3 centre backs.
Yeah.
Amate, Jiku,
Salisu.
and Baba. Then
Yeah.
on the right we had
Ali Duseidu.
Alidu,
And then Gideon Mensah on the left.
Gideon on the left.
Yeah.
7 defensive-minded players, and that was when we conceded 2 goals. Clearly, Chris Hughton is out of stock. He doesn't
All
know.
right. Rich, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time, and we thank you. We just hope that these things will come to the notice and it will be resolved. Orekwam Pofo, yes, my colleague who has been in Cote d'Ivoire joins us shortly for what the mood is like currently, and then last night. Oreko, thanks for joining us. And what was the mood like, especially with that of the players after the game yesterday? They let go a 2-goal lead once again.
Yeah, thank you very much, Calvin. It's difficult to describe what went on, because for the first time you saw okay, Ghana were at least going to see out a game, and even at 2-1 you thought, it's just Mozambique. 2 more minutes for Ghana to hold on, and then they still find a way of drawing the game, especially when Egypt had done Ghana a big favor by drawing to Cape Verde. And so essentially, even with Ghana's poor performance, if they won that game, they finish second, and they actually get a favorable draw because they face the second of the person in Group F, which is the Morocco, DR Congo, Zambia, Tanzania group. And so it's likely to be one of DR Congo or maybe Tanzania or Zambia, which was in turn a favorable draw for Ghana. And so possibly you're looking at maybe progressing beyond the round of 16 to the quarterfinals. And who knows who you meet from there. But that didn't happen. And if it was the first time that the team were playing in such a manner and conceding in such a manner, it would be slightly more understandable. But the thing is that it's been coming. It's been coming from the first game against Cape Verde, where they equalized and they took their foot off the pedal. And an individual mistake at the back let the Blue Sharks into the game again, and they won. Against Egypt, twice we took the lead, twice we made mistakes, they came back. And then yesterday. And so it almost feels like it feels like no matter what we did, just win.
Well, Rico, after the game, we heard that there were attacks on the team bus, the players, and then the staff, the technical team of the Black Stars. How true is that?
It wasn't the team bus. It was the bus that picked up the fans from the outer perimeter of the stadium where they parked into the inner perimeter. It's a very, very big land, and so you have to walk a very long distance from where you park to the actual stadium. And so it wasn't the team bus, it was the bus that carried the fans.
All right. We know that, yes, people are raising possibilities of the team making it to the next stage if Cameroon, Algeria, Tanzania fail to get the needed results in their respective games. Is that the hope of the players and then the technical team from what you are picking?
Look, I don't even think this team is in the right mental state to play another match, and too many things have to move. I think Cameroon have to draw a Gambia. and then Morocco have to beat Zambia. Yeah, just a lot of things have to move for Ghana to qualify, and I just don't see it happening. Even if it does, from what I saw yesterday, I don't even think these guys have what it takes to play another game, and they look shattered. They looked like they were in disbelief, and from after the game, what like the type of treatment that they had from the media, I don't think these guys are ready to play another game.
They may not be able to play another game. Are you having any signs Chris Hughton would tender in any resignation this morning? And what's the mood like, of the players? Are you picking any signs that yes, he's going to resign? And for Andre, is he going to call it quit on the Black Stars?
Well, Chris Hughton said that he's not thinking about his immediate future at the point. That was yesterday evening. I don't know whether that would change this morning, but I suspect he's not going to keep his job. There's no way you can keep your job after you don't make it past the group stages. It's very awful, it's shameful, and so I don't think he would keep his job probably going forward, and it's coming. If it's not today, it would be sometime soon. But with this type of performances, with this type of nature of letting leads slip, conceding, lack of concentration and all that, I don't think he would be, or he is the man to lead Ghana to the World Cup. Remember, we're already in a dangerous position there where we've lost one game out of two. We lost that game to Comoros, and so we're already handicapped in the World Cup qualifiers as well. And I doubt the leadership of Ghana football would want to entrust their World Cup qualification into his hands.
Well, Eric Kwampafo, thank you so much, and really appreciate you for your time. See you on the other side, and we just hope that something good comes out. But if nothing good comes out, we'll come back home and then get things sorted out. Thank you.
Thank you too.
So that was my colleague Eric Kwampafo. Let's see if we can pick a couple of calls and then we call it a wrap. 0559-242-717, 0556-910154. What do you make of this performance of the Black Stars? Who should be blamed, and how should we resolve this disaster that has happened to our national team? Hello?
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where are you calling from?
This is Yuria, it's Legan.
All right, brother, let's have your word.
And for me, honestly, and I saw this coming, so I wasn't heartbroken. But honestly, I keep saying with all seriousness, if this team keeps the tag national team, if it's indeed a national team, then the handlers of the Black Star must think again that this is not a private team. If they have something they can do with their private teams, they should do. But when it comes to the national team, if you have a beef with somebody, if you are dating somebody's sisters, whatever, that is not the time. It is about national assignments. Okay. Some players must not play the national team. It is not everybody that can feature for the nation. Sure. We have people who can be president of Ghana, but when we are voting, it is only one person we can consider. Okay. And that person will be announced. So when you look at some changes that the coach and his technical men were doing, anytime I see the coach and his two able men, they are looking at some chart. I don't know if it is national lottery, banker to banker. If it is even a banker you want to give us, by this time we would have seen it. So I don't know what they are looking for in that chart. That always they are looking, but when the players come to the field, we don't know what they produce. Well, we pay them with our peanuts. Yeah. The points that we contribute for in a form of tax is what is being taken them to wherever they are. So if they are making a choice to represent Ghana, they should drop the pride. And I hate this person, I don't like this person, and this person is a hero, this person has experience. We need people who will be committed, like we've seen in the past, 2006, that you can close your eyes and mention even the bench that will play better than what we saw yesterday.
All right. Rather, thank you so much. Yes, well noted. Hello. Hello?
Calvin. You are laughing. This is Papa Bizi. Calvin, my brother. What happened? I told you we'll struggle.
Yeah, you did.
You you will struggle. See, you ask of the way forward. In the first, let me put it this way for you so that I understand economically.
Yeah.
We are close to Ivory Coast, is that not it?
Yes, we are.
So those living on the western corridor can easily enter Ivory Coast to go and support the Black Stars, is that not it?
Yes.
And within Ivory Coast, we have some Ghanaians there, a lot of Ghanaians there. So was it proper for the Ministry of Sports or the Ghana government to take supporters from here to Ivory Coast and spend $40 every day on them?
That's sad.
Proper?
No.
Money that we need to buy dialysis machine for renal patients and all these things. Haircut that they were giving to what they call it, patient bondholders who needed money to go and buy drugs at their old age and all these things. You are not giving it to them. So you see, people are suffering. So sometimes the cash is too old. It's part of cash is on this very government. It's part. Because the government is not doing the right thing. I get to my point.
Yes.
Now, to talk about the football itself proper.
Yeah.
I told you, Chris Hilton or the name self.
Yeah.
It's what the Ghana people will say so. Then the fact you take there. That's why it's friend. How can you bring the day are you? In one pencil, a young, very active guy was able to do it in such a way that we got a penalty. And you change that very player. For what reason? And you, the day are you, captain for that matter, the captain of the side for that matter, had a whole chance. You were in the penalty, but you couldn't really protect your hand from what you call it. And then look at the goalkeeper too. The ball is going outside so that we can get a goal kick or whatever. We went and touch it. What pushed that goalkeeper? See, what we need now, I must be frank with you.
Yeah.
So that we can be winning like the old Black Stars. I mean, from the 60s to the 80s there. I want these players, they are now coaches. You know Malik Jaber?
Yeah, Johnny.
Malik Jaber. Malik Jaber.
Yes.
Former Kotoko captain.
Yes.
Then Ibrahim Sunday. Also a Kotoko captain, but became a coach. Then Abdul Razak. I think we need these three guys. They are still alive.
Yes, they are.
Please, the Ministry of Sports should just contact these three guys. Then bring up maybe Stephen Appiah and the young ones now. To join us with them. Find the way out to get a proper team. I get my point.
Okay.
We need strong guys at the back, the defense.
Yeah.
When you look at Black Stars, they are defenders in the 60s and the 70s. See how thick they are, lucky they are. So people will fear that. Look at Quebec. Look at the Quebec players. I don't want to talk too much about others. Just take a look at Quebec players and you understand me.
Yes, sure, Papa.
Let me allow others to come in, my brother. Have a nice day, my brother.
All right, enjoy your day too. 0559-242-717. Let me pick my final caller and then we call it a wrap. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, brother. Your name and where you calling from?
Samuel from Medina. All
right, Samuel.
So, what transpired yesterday was a sad day for Ghana Football Association. It was it's a sad day for a whole country like Ghana. You know that Africa Cup is our birthright. Do you know this?
Yes.
That is our birthright. So as a country going for a tournament to be omit, Jesus Christ me, I don't know what to say again. I can't see. I saw this thing coming because yesterday when Ghana was leading 2-0, all of a sudden the style of play has changed.
Yeah.
And pressure was mounted on us. And I said, hey, as we were playing with a better side, like you will score plenty.
Yes. So many goals.
Okay. So many errors. And like the players are not playing for nothing. Like there's no patriotism in the team. So all the blame, 70% of the blame have to go to shooting. And there is no leadership in the team. There is no cohesiveness. Okay, how can we be sacrificing national assets for somebody's interest? A whole national asset for one person's interest. Why? Jesus Christ me. Charlie, if we keep doing the same thing or more over again, very soon we can't qualify again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yo.
All right. Thank you so much, brother, for your time. Well, I think I will end it here. Helena Piampo will continue. This has been, the special edition of Sunrise as the Black Stars are on the brink of AFCON exit after Mozambique stage. A very excellent comeback last night to draw 2-0 when the Black Stars were in a 2-goal lead. My name is Kelvin Owusu, and Sunrise continues.